My name is Connor Clarke and this is my Club and Volunteer and Development Assignment 2. In this presentation I'm going to be talking about my time volunteering for Surton Finney Preston Soccer Development Centre / Football Club, including what the club is about, their targets, structure, my experience, my when I volunteered, plus how volunteering can benefit you. So, the club I have been volunteering for is the Surton Finney Preston Soccer Development Centre / Football Club. The days I volunteer are Saturdays, and the time varies because I either work 2 hours starting from 10:30 to 12:30, or sometimes only 11:30 to 12:30. The venue for this club is the UCLAN Sports Arena, and the age group varies depending on what group you are given on the day. So for example, there's ages 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 7 to 8, 9 to 10s and 11 plus. A little brief thing on me: I've got my coaching badge level 1 plus my street soccer level 1. I'm a health and safety, safeguarding and I'm CRC checked. Right, so at Surton Finney, this is a quote from Pete Mason, at Surton Finney FC we provide players for all ages an opportunity to engage football and achieve their potential. So the club is offering sessions that, for say some people who haven't got clubs, an opportunity to get into football, especially at a young age when that's the first stage of progressing and actually wanting to do sport, to try and reach their potential. The club is advertised to both adults and children from all backgrounds. It is a great opportunity to start or develop their own football skills in both a fun and a competitive environment. This allows the participants to appreciate the game and allow them to develop their all-round game at a grassroots level. Surton Finney is a FA charter standard, which means they have an access to the McDonald's FA Charter Standard Kit Scheme to receive 1 free Nike kit each season to 2014 to 2018 for under 7s to under 16 teams. They get free tickets upon application for England Youth and Women Internationals. They also get access to administrative support sessions, support with funding applications. New FA Charter Standard clubs also receive an official FA plaque and certificate, resources to help promote the club, £100 worth of official Nike match balls, that is an FA Standard youth and adult clubs, then £150 worth of official FA Nike match balls, that is for an FA Chartered Standard development clubs, £200 worth of FA Nike match balls, that is an FA Standard community club. And then the opportunity to become a Nike partner, FA Chartered, that is for an FA Chartered Standard Development and Community Clubs. Overall, the FA Chartered Standard status is a clear demonstration to all parents and sponsors and the public that a club or league is well organised, safe and opportunities for all, has FA qualified coaches as standard. The first thing Kath Mason wanted from their coaches was to at least be level 1 so they could take charge of grid. And then she out of the Surton Finney money paid for us who weren't level 1 coaches, which all of us are now. They adheres to FA respect policies and codes of conduct, prioritises child welfare, maintains an appropriate level of discipline, has access to county FA and FA regional workforces, has access, can use the cover 3 lines FA crest on its marking and business materials. And then looking away from the football side of this, what Surton Finney are also about, it's also to develop at a young age, and also for the coaches as well, a chance to look off the football side of it, a chance to get into the environment of a work placement, what you learn from it, what you can gain from it, and etc. etc. So the Surton Finney Football Club structure, so the organisation structure, Committee include a chair, a vice chair, treasurer, secretary, a lead welfare officer, parent representative, leads for each section, that's including disability, junior, adult males and adult ladies, communications officer, subscription officer, monthly fees, managers, assistants and volunteer helpers. So the founders of the club were Kath Mason and Pete Mason, so they are the chair and also the vice chair. We're looking at the registration and fixture officers, which is Michael Johnson. Then we're looking at the parent representative, which is Mark Whiteside. Media and comms, which is Imrad Member. Vice chairperson is Laura Rushton. Subscription coordinator is Andy Lee. Disability lead is Faisal Member. And then club secretary Martin Kane. And club treasurer is Joanne Kane as well. So how it goes is there's obviously a chair and a vice chair. They bring in the treasurer and the secretary. And then the lead welfare officer sort of looks at bringing in coaches and the volunteers to help aid their club. So for the Sir Tom Finney coaching style and how they coach, each coach has a different style. So Sir Tom Finney allows any coaching style as long as the standards of the session are met with the criteria of the session goals. Each coach will be given responsibilities when in their grid, such as any hazards that are on the playing field, correct footwear, shin pads, correct sportswear depending on the weather. So because we play on AstroTurf, which is also a sand-based AstroTurf, they can't wear any type of football boots. It has to be trainers. And also what we recommend is obviously if there's goalkeepers that they wear long trousers. Obviously we can't force them, but obviously we have to make them aware of what hazards do occur from them wearing shorts. So the week before the Saturday, a message goes out to the coaches who are available on this Facebook chat that we've got. And on this, we have the topic of the session. So, for example, in the picture on here, we've got attacking in groups. And then we've got from 10 to 11:15, that goes disability, 7 and 8, 9 and 10. That's the hours before. And then from 11 to 12:30, it's there's 4s, 5s, 6, 7 and 8s, 9s and 10s, and 11 pluses. So it's very organised to know which coaches where, at what time, and also the topic of the session. Because when this comes out, we can then design sessions that link to that session plans. So attacking in groups will do specific sessions that are fun-based and can be attacking in groups, so they know at the start the participants what they are actually doing this session, so they're not thinking what is actually the point in this session. They actually know, and will do sessions designed for that purpose. With the topic and structure to where each coach is, they can develop sessions. And in these grids, there's usually two coaches. One is a lead of the grid, so that's the one who, if anything happens on that grid, it goes back to him. If there's any health and safety points, it goes back to him. The lead or the assistant can't really leave the grid, so usually there'll be a volunteer who is an unqualified coach who, if something happens, for example, if there's no shin pads, we'll get that person to go to see Kath Mason or Nathan Green to get the shin pads and provide them to the participant who can play straight away after that. Within each session, it has to be acting professional and in respect of the club, but it's not just acting respectful and professional. It's more of the fact determining on the age group you get from what you get on the day. Your session plans will vary. So for 4s and 5s, you won't be doing something that 11 pluses will be doing. It's not so much low standards, but it's encouraging them to play, encouraging them to do stuff differently, and then 11 pluses, you sort of get a slightly higher standard. So, the football philosophy of Sir Tom Finney. This scheme made by Sir Tom Finney is allowing kids to develop themselves also, so by doing this they will develop a good self-belief in themselves to be able to do things they may not have done due to their confidence level being higher. Sir Tom Finney encourages all ages within this club to enjoy playing football. When encouraging the enjoyment of playing football for the participants, the coaches are allowing these participants to develop their technical skills through the use of well-structured coaching sessions. Also, on your first day of coaching with Certon Finney, they will ask you about your level 1, which I mentioned briefly, because that is what you need to run a grid. And if you haven't got your level 1, Certon Finney are willing to, in their funding, pay for you to get your level 1, so then that's a very good reason obviously to join. So they pay so you can go straight into a grid when you've got that, and you've been CRC checked, you've got your health and safety, you've got your safeguarding, and then you can go straight into a grid and coach, and they will feel very comfortably about that. So to provide an ongoing professional coach education and development training for people at the age of 14 who wish to become involved with youth development, soccer coaching and community development, which is another quote from Pete Mason. This club aim is to develop the participation or increase participation. So Certon Finney focus for the participation is the sport way, because they're more concerned about participation than they are winning games. Winning games is important, but not so much at the earlier age. This is where they get an introduction to how winning, what matters to win, what matters to lose. But on the first side, they want to get participation up. So that's where Certon Finney are linked with Sports England, who obviously are main factors are increasing participation level in sport. So that's where they get their funding from as well. Whereas compared to Sports England, who are just looking for the next winners, basically, the next pro athletes, that's the ones they will fund. They won't fund a club who are just looking for participation levels. So, and that is also help from the Certon Finney website. So, how Certon Finney play? Certon Finney run different events such as teams for individual ages. They coach such as 9 to 10-year-olds. This is because they will be able to show participants who go training, they can get into a team and learn about competition side of football. Also, the club does a 5-a-side events. They do it sometimes through the season, and they do it a lot in the summer. This is for people who haven't got a team, so people who maybe got released from a team as such or weren't able to get into a team. That's what Certon Finney is about. It's about bringing participation up. And for young ages as well, a great way to do it is 5-a-side, because it's such a quick tempoed game. That's where they develop their skills a lot faster. And also it gets the participants to realise what it is like to work in a team. And also, like I said about the quick tempo, they might try something a bit different. As soon as they do something different, their confidence will get raised. And then that moves on to 7 to 11-a-side. So that's basically the next stage. So in 7-a-side, you'll get a little bit more time compared to 5-a-side. 11-a-side, you get a lot more time. So they'll have time to work on the ball, work on their passing, work on their long, short passing, tackling. Compared to 5-a-side, where you don't get as much time on the ball. That's more thinking outside the box, doing stuff a bit differently. They also run every other weekend. They do a disability tournament, where disability teams from across Lancashire, they come in to the UCLAN Sports Arena usually, and they run tournaments. And at the end, the winner gets, say for example, medals, a little trophy. And that's, I think that's a good way of doing it. For example, with Sports England, one of the barriers is disability, where some disabled people might not feel comfortable coming in and playing. They might have got a stick score, they might not feel confident thinking they might not be able to do it. Whereas in this one, it's a complete and friendly environment, and they can compete no matter what. So that's a good way of doing it, and that's another reason why Sports England would fund these, to help barriers in sport. It's also looking at young ages to move them and get into that next stage. So my role at Certon Finney, I am a qualified level 1 coach. That includes my safeguarding, health and safety and CRC. On a Saturday morning, I was able to work alongside a wide range of volunteers. Each coach will be assigned to an individual grid with the age they have been put to work with, like I mentioned before. Within these grids, there is a lead coach who is in charge of the sessions and the welfare of the participants, and if anything was to happen within the grid, it would be led to a coach to sort it. And the assistant qualified coach is to add their input to the session, but mainly there to aid the lead coach, so they can throw in examples and suggestions that they would like to throw in. In some grids there'll be a young unqualified coach, like I said before, for added help needed to go get shin pads and stuff for the participants. Usually I coach for the 2 hours. Of the coaching ages vary. Sometimes I can go 1 week, I can do the disability and going on to working on the 4s or 5s, and then sometimes it can be 9s, 10s going on to 7 and 8s. So I have to develop my own knowledge and do different session plans that apply to each one of the attended age groups. So my individual strengths, what I find with my individual strengths, this is from past experience as well, playing for a high-level football team, is my confidence is pretty high. I'm good at speaking, I'm good at getting my voice out there. So when coaching, I deliver my session speaking in a confident manner, which then allows the participants to understand the session and feel confident in the coach. By having confidence in the coach, they'll realise what they're actually doing here is important, and if I speak to them confidently, they're going to go into it doing it confidently and they'll take it 100%. Also, preparation for the session. Before the session is about to take place, I will set up, so before the start time, I'll set up the cones of what my session is about. I have a good knowledge of good sessions that I've learnt from doing, obviously my level 1 and having quite a bit of experience before. So when the participants come in, they'll see it's set up, they're ready to do it, they can get straight into it rather than standing around, and if it is a rainy day, you've got to keep them warm, you've got to keep them on the go basically. You don't want to stop for a long period of time, because then that's when they start to get disheartened and they start to get bored and they think, I don't want to be here next week, and we want to encourage them to come back next week. I work really well as a team, but also as an individual. I'm there to aid coaches and also run my own sessions. I will happily help structure sessions. I'll help any coach that needs a hand coaching, and like I said, with teamwork, I don't hold back. I have a good voice, I'm confident in speaking, so I will get my feelings and opinions across. So challenges I face is organisation and planning. And I said I was good before, but this is prior to that. So when the session plans come out with the topic and what I'm doing, I don't plan my session straight away, I don't write it down. So because I have them in my head, I usually just do it from there. And if the session doesn't turn out great, obviously I can learn from that and I can develop it further and make it better. But if I don't have like a plan, the spectators might look and feel, what is he doing? Doesn't know what he's doing. Sometimes I get a bit too involved. For example, when it comes to the game, obviously if the numbers ain't even, I join in, which as a coach you shouldn't do, because if anything was to happen, it would come down to me and it would be my fault, and obviously the spectators would not be happy by that. And another thing is, a lot of the participants may probably pass the ball to me, because obviously I'm older, I'm a slightly higher skill level than a lot of them, so they'll pass to me, and then that could leave some person out who's not getting the ball as much as I'll try and pass to them, it still leaves them out. Also, keeping the participants concentrated and focused on this, that's depending on the types of attitude, because they come from different backgrounds, and you don't know what they're going to be like each week. So trying to keep them focused and determined to do it, and trying to keep them away from talking to their friends is the hard one. So, by overcoming this, my preparation, I start to lay out my sessions each week, start to write them down and prepare them. So then that will look good to any spectators. If it's too involved, I stay on the side now and I've overcome it. And I look on the side, and for example, if someone isn't getting involved too much, I'll let them take the next free kick, or I'll let them take the next throw in, for example, like that. So our participants, I try and keep them moving as such. I don't stop them too much to talk to them for a long period of time, so that's also keeping them going. The only time I do stop them is for drink breaks, and if I have to discuss the session in just a little bit of detail. So that's some ways that I've overcome it. How I use what I've learned. When volunteering at Certain Finney, I've gained a lot of valuable experience as a coach and what a coach needs to do, such as organisation, confidence, different factors as in the participant's background, handling time, the structure of sessions and the club. When gaining this experience, I'm putting myself into situations to build my own confidence and learning that if something does go wrong, how will I improve that for next time? But learning all these different aspects, this also gives me more criteria that I can take into everyday life, such as jobs. By having this experience, I'm more likely to get myself a job within coaching due to the experience I have gained from Surton Finney Football Club. Due to the public sector being very heavily populated on how much experience and knowledge you have, I will then be put ahead of other contenders for a job due to my experience that I do have. So how volunteering can benefit you as a coach. So like what I've said before, gaining experience, like stated in the slide before, you learn different skills that aren't just relevant for coaching as such. You can go into jobs, you learn people skills, you learn how to be confident in speaking in front of people. And also a quote that I like from Caroline Knight from the Sheffield University is, the young people and students as sports volunteers with their literature particularly contradicting the prevailing view that young people volunteer for instrumental career reasons. These motivates are significant, but so are friends and a passion for sports. So that's just basically saying that motivates them for sport. Get yourself more confident, like I've just said, a better coaching brain so you now know what to do for next time. You've developed your skills as a coach and that makes you look a lot better. Also within the coaching there are many roles. So many roles within coaching, that's why it's very appealing. This is proven by the article. Within sports, volunteering exists an extreme wide range of roles. Coach, there's a captain, a secretary, chairman, treasurer, administrator, fundraiser, washing the kit, transporting the children, and a range of more and sport-specific activities. That is from Caroline Knight as well from Sheffield University. That is my presentation, guys. Hope you enjoyed it.